Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of Leibniz Lecture. Today we're going to copy a web page and this video is once again part of my lecture at the Higher Technical School of Kaindorf in Austria, and I'm teaching there a subject called Web Development and Mobile Computing. And at the end of the first term, students should be able to copy web pages and to rebuild them. And this is what we're going to do today. We're going to copy a very famous one. We're going to copy McDonald's web page. And I really want to mention that I have nothing to do with the company. It's just that the website contains a lot of the components that my students should be aware of. So let's take a look at the web page. I already cut it down a little bit so that it's not too much. We have a navigation bar here at the top where we can hover over all the different menu items. We have kind of all the information down there. We have some images there. We have some videos here. We have another video there. And we're ending with the McDonald's delivery at the very bottom here. And yeah, I think we're going to do it together so that you know how to approach such a challenge. I already downloaded all the images and videos from the original web page, and I created the basic structure of the index.html file as well as the styles.css file. So we're zeroing margin and padding, we're setting the box sizing to border box, and I'm also setting up another font family to be used here. Okay. So great. So how will we start? How should we go on? So the first thing that we can see is that the content of the page is not taking the whole width of our browser window. So there might be some container around there, and this is what I would like to start with. So I'm starting with a container, and when we go to our index to our styles.css file, and we're grabbing the container, we're setting this to be a width of 70%, and to center all the content in there, we're using a margin of 0 for top and bottom and auto for left and right. Okay, so this is the first setup to be done. And now I think we can start with the navigation bar. Let's see how this looks like. So we see that we have different spaces between that part of the navigation bar and that part of the navigation bar, and also a different distance between here and here. So this means that we should split up the whole navigation bar into 3 parts, and this is what we will be doing. So we will start with our logo, then we will put together these 4 items and these 3 items down here. And therefore, we're going to use the semantic element nav. And first of all, let's include the image. So what we have here is the logo. Then the second thing is the inner part. So the 4 menu items, eat, care, work, and smile. So we're creating a div here. Let's give it an idea of nav center. And then we have a button that says eat. We have a button that says care. We have a button that says work. And we have a button that says smile. And then we have the right part. So I'm naming it nav-right. And here we have 2 buttons which include an image. So the first is the marker. And then the second button contains the search image here. It's a search indicator, and then the last button just says jetzt bestellen. Good. So let's see how this looks like. So we already see that we have our 70% thing here. So this looks good, but everything else is just a mess right now. So it's not where it should be, and it's not doing anything that it should do. But we will go on now. So first of all is that we have all of them in one row, and therefore we will be using Flexbox for our navigation bar, because as you remember, everything that's in here, so the image and the two divs will be used as the elements. So display flex. So now they're all side by side, and I want everything of space that's left in there to be between. So all the space is now in between, and I also want to center them vertical wise. So now they're also centered in that way. That looks good. I think now we should start with the inner part, so with this center part. So this is the nav dash center, and I would like to start with the button because this is what we start with. So we don't have a background color here, or we don't have a background at all. So let's get rid of the background here. We also don't have a border, so there is no border. The weight should be a little bit bolder, and we should also increase the font size maybe to 1 EM. And then we need some, as we see it here, we need some distance in between. So I'm going to set a margin. Top bottom is nothing, but left and right will be 40 pixels. So this splits it up a little bit. So it looks pretty good right now. Then do we need something else? Yeah, so we want to style our buttons a little bit better. So we're going to set a padding here, and we're also going to set a border radius of 20 pixels. And yes, that's nothing that you can see right now, but as soon as we define the hover, we will see that it changes, and we have to set a background color here, and we're using hexadecimal FFBC0D. And now when we're hovering, we can see what the padding and what the border radius now did. So we already have that part ready now. Okay, so we're good to go for the part. Now we have to make sure that also the right part is correct. So we're grabbing the right part here, and once again we have to say display flex, and I would like to have some gap in there, so I'm using column gap here with 20 pixels so that we also have a gap in there. When we take a look at that web page, we see that we have a lot of buttons that look pretty the same way, so I would like to style the button for the whole web page now, and not only for the navigation bar. So I'm grabbing all the buttons to be a background color of whatever we defined, to have a border of 3 pixels, solid, and also this interesting yellow here. We want for all of them to have a padding of 10 pixels and 20 pixels. I would like to have a border radius of 20 pixels for all of them, and I also would like to have a font weight of bolder for all of them. So, which already gets this thing done here. And what we can now get rid of is these two things, because, and also the font weight, because this is what's already defined in the overall button, and in the button for the navigation bar, we're just getting rid of background, border, and the margin here. Okay. Sorry, we're not getting rid of the margin, but we're defining the margin here. Okay, so I think it pretty much looks like what we're expecting. We're still missing the hover for the right part here. So for the button overall, we have a hover where the background color turns to white. Okay, looks pretty nice now. Okay, so I think we might be done with our navigation bar. Are we missing something? Oh yeah, we're missing something, I think. Yeah, because if you take a look at these two buttons here, they have a different border radius than that one, okay? So we still have to do that. How we're doing that? So I think we're just grabbing nav right button, and we are grabbing the first child, and it's also true for the second child. So for both of them, we need a border radius of 10 pixels only. Yeah, and now it looks like how it should. So we have a small border radius here, we have a bigger one there. Perfect. So this is now exactly how it should look like and how we want that to be done. Okay, so we can now move on to the next part, which is all of this here. And the cool thing is that we only have to style it once, and all the other things is just copying it into our text, so into our notepad or into our Visual Studio Code afterwards. So let's style the first thing. So the first thing is Öffnungszeiten über die Feiertage. So let's go for that. So we're stepping out of the nav, so we're creating a new section, and I called it advertise here. And a part like this, so also including the button, for me is called, or is a div with the class of text, so because this is some text part that we're doing there. I'm using an H1, and I'm just grabbing the text from here. So for the H1, then I'm having a paragraph for these things in here, whereas the word ungewollt is done strong. And then finally, we need to create a button, and this button has the text here, klicken. Okay, so this is what we would like to style. On the right hand side, we have this clock. So let's also include that clock here. So it's image, it's clock with stars around it. So this is how it looks like. So not really good, but we will now start designing it, and then it should look much better. So the first thing that we should take care of is how things are aligned. And first thing is that we need a margin of 14 pixels on the top. So we come down a little bit from the top here. And then we need to use CSS grid. So display grid, and as we saw on the web page, we need to have them side by side. We see that the image is much bigger, is still much bigger, so we need to somehow make sure that this works out. So advertise, and the image should always have a width of 100%, and now it looks pretty good. So we see that they're really exact the same sizes here. What we need to do here is I would like to have a gap of 80 pixels. That's also there in between. So if we're opening the development tools, we see now we have 80 pixels here. We will also have 80 pixels between the different rows. And after the advertisement, I also would like to have a margin bottom of 40 pixels, but that's not relevant right now. Okay, so let's take care of all the headings and all the stylings there. So advertise, we have some H1s in there, and we're setting the font size to be 2 EM. Then let's talk about the paragraph. So the paragraph has a margin of 30 pixels, and for top, bottom, and 0 for left and right. And we also have a font size of 1.1 EM, so it gets a little bit bigger. And the cool thing now is that the button is already styled because we already defined what the button should look like. So that's great. That's exactly how we expected it to be. For the image, we're not seeing it here, but we're seeing it in there. We have border radius, we have a radius there around, and also for the videos we have a border radius here, and this is what we need to set for the image. So we're going to set, the semicolon is missing. Oh, sorry. So we're going to set a border radius of 20 pixels here, and if the same thing should also apply to videos, we're also going to do it in that way. So advertise and video, so for later on. Okay, so we still need to do some formatting here, because this text, the whole text block here, should always be centered with the image, which is not true right now. So we need to apply that. So advertise, and then we're going for the class of text. We're defining the height to be 100%, which means just take the whole height. Then we're using display flex in there, which is now killing our whole web page, where we're doing flex direction column. So now it looks good. Just the here clicking button is not correct. We're using justify content center, so to center it vertically. And for the horizontal alignment, we're going to align it start, which means now we are on the very left side and everything looks exactly how it should be looking. Okay. So, and I think that should already be it. So we are now ready to continue here with all the other things. And yeah, let's do it. So we see the next thing should be this big rusty image here. So after that image, we're creating a new image where it says big rusty. Where is it? Here. Big rusty burger, and we take a look. Yeah, it's perfectly there where it should be. And now we have the text für das Kind in dir. So we are grabbing the part of the text again. We're just copying and we're just replacing all the text. So we're replacing that. We're replacing this text here, and the button now says Jetzt Winter aus Kosten and an exclamation mark. So let's go back and exactly. So this is how it should look like. Okay. So we have a slight difference here when it comes to sizes, as you're observing. But that doesn't matter. It's just a small thing, and maybe it has something to do with slightly different styling that I'm using. I don't have all the numbers in mind, so it might be just a small difference here. Let me just, yeah, I think that that's okay. Good. So this text, then the next thing is the richtig nice text. So we're just copying it once again, and then the header is richtig nice. So let's put it in here. Then we have this whole text. It's now there. And then we have jetzt entdecken as the text here. And if we're saving it, we are there. So that looks pretty good. And now we have to include a video, and including the video isn't that hard. So we're just using video here. And then we have the, I think it's the nice phrase video, and it's here, but it's not playing at all. So we need some more attributes here. So first of all, we want it to be played in a loop, and we also want it to be played as an autoplay. And it's playing now, but it will stop playing because videos usually are not played if they are not muted. So make sure that they are also muted. And now it exactly looks like the copy from here. Then we have another image, which is the McCrispy image. There it is, McCrispy burger. Let's save it again. So we have it on here, and now we have to get the text done. So let's just copy the whole text, copy it down there, and make sure to copy everything from here. So it says Tosama Hawaii. We have the whole text, and the button says will ich probieren. Okay, good. So then we have Frühstück fertig los. So the next text to go for. So let's copy the text again. Frühstück fertig los. Let's get it in there. We have another one in here. And the button says ab zum Frühstück. Good. There it is. And followed by another image here, which is the morning image. So image McDonald's morning food. And there it is, looks good. And now we have another video here. So we're including the video with the snacks. And don't forget, we need a loop, we need an autoplay, and for the autoplay to work correctly, we also need the muted. There it is, and it's playing. Looks good. And then we finally need one more text to be set up here. And this is the text that we see there. So let's save that one. Let's save that one, and the text says jetzt holen with an exclamation mark, and perfect. So it looks like how it should look like and how the original page looks like. So perfect. Last thing is the part down here, and yeah, that's not that tricky, I think. So we once again have kind of the same style on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we just have some image. So we're stepping out of the section, we're creating a new section named delivery. In there we have a div with the class of text, where we have an H1 that gets the McDonald's. Then we have a paragraph with the text in here, and then finally we have a button that says here bestellen. And after that we need to include the image, the delivery image, delivery back. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So we see we have already some styling there. We have the button, but it's not looking good, and many of the things are still missing. So we have to once again style it. So we are starting with the delivery by using display grid template columns. So we have 2 columns again, and I would like to have a margin at the bottom of 50 pixels, so it's going down a little bit. Okay, we're not seeing anything because the image is way too big. So let's grab the image. Let's define the width to be 100%. Now it's already looking a little bit better, but still not how we expected. So there might be something wrong in here, and I forgot the why. It's delivery. Yes, now it already looks kind of good. If you see the web page, we see that we have rounded corners here on the right hand side of the image. So let's define that here. This is border top right radius of 20 pixels, and we have border bottom right radius of 20 pixels. So now we also have the border radius there. And then we need to style the text. So the left hand side. Once again, we're defining a height of 100%. If you still remember, we want that to be centered. So we're setting the flex direction to be column once again. justified content will be center and the line items will also be center. So now it's centered down here. That looks pretty good, but we still need to define a background color. Now it's starting to look like that one here, okay? So we're still missing some things. I would like to define a padding for left and right of 50 pixels, which gets it a little bit more centered. We'll also see that we need to change things for the text sizes, and we're also defining the border radius here for the top left border radius and for the border bottom left radius of 20 pixels. So now we also have border radius down here. We need to grab the H1 for the delivery to have a font size of 2 EM. We need to grab the paragraph where we have a margin of 30 pixels top and bottom so that we have some distance between the button and the headline. And we would like to have a font size of 1.1 EM, so make it a little bit bigger. And we have to also do something with the button because some things need to change from the basic button. So the background color should be white. Now it's white. Then it's also kind of bigger than the other buttons were, and it has to have a border. And the border should be solid, 3 pixels and in white. We're not seeing it at all here now, but also the hover is different because we have another border, another background color to be set, and the background color is that color. And now it's doing it in a good way. Okay, so I think we did a good copy. So we have some CSS here, we have some HTML, but what you can observe is that if you're very clever when it comes to styling and you have to do the stylings only once and then just copy all the texts, and that should finally do it. Cool. Okay, guys, so this is already the end of that video. I hope you learned something new and also enjoyed it today. If you liked this video, please leave a like, and if you do not want to miss any upcoming episodes, I would be happy if you subscribe my channel. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you again. Bye.